The weather here has been unbearably hot. It's been up in the mid-80s and with no breeze, and as you can see from the sky, just no cloud cover at all. It's still quite early here, it's about 9 o'clock, so it's still relatively cool. And I just thought I'd show you some of the gardens here on the east side of the cottage. These are very cool gardens now. Originally they started off as being very open, very exposed. And if I pan the camera now around to the west, that's looking west, there were no trees here at all 9 years ago. It was very windy, very exposed, very cold, very bereft of birds and insects, and the land was not fertile because there had been no trees on it for possibly hundreds of years. Now, 9 years down the line, the gardens are very sheltered. They're very secluded. There's been over 900 trees planted. There's been countless willow planted, and shrubs, and flowers, and fruit, and vegetables. And as a consequence, the land here has been totally transformed. So this little garden, which was the very first one that I made, because I have about 3 acres here and it's just a series of gardens, and that was the only way in which I could create anything, just little by little. So each garden is quite small, and in fact many of the little gardens now are just flowing on into other gardens, so you hardly even notice that you have separate areas. In fact, I didn't want to have the notion or the idea or the concept of separateness anywhere here. I wanted everything to be part of one. The way in which I created these gardens, well, I planted. I didn't dig. I only ever dig when I need to plant. And what I do besides that is I mulch. And you can see here evidence of the famous chop and drop. And it's just really where you cut back weeds, you cut back things that you don't want, and you just let them fall back onto the ground. So you're emulating, excuse me, you're emulating nature, because that's what nature does when she's allowed to get on with things. How often in this world has she been allowed to get on with things? But anyway, so this is one of the little gardens. Now if you look further on, you can just see one of the sheds. So that's where the potager gardens are. Okay, just go around this way, because this is a little path that runs along the north side of the cottage. So it's quite cool, and because of all the trees now it's quite sheltered and dark, and so there's a sort of a feeling of woodland going on here. In fact, this seems to pervade most of the land now, where you have shade and coolness, and an increasingly healthy soil, because of course you have continual leaf drop and you've got continual chop and drop, and I take a lot of the branches and stuff that is not needed or is in the way or is growing into other trees, and I put them through the shredder and bring them back out on the land. And that's an incredibly simple way of restoring fertility. Everything that I've done here has been about restoring fertility, and it's based on one very simple belief. For some people it's a concept or a precept. For me it's a deeply held belief that the earth is sacred.